Hi, everyone. This is Toni Jones.
This is Nayda.
We are going to be discussing the book 30 Days of Thought by Jay Doran.
That's right. And today's topic is going to be the more you teach, the higher your potential.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. What an exciting topic. There's so many good quotes in the book that stood out to me. I'm highlighting everything that stood out, right? And then I'm thinking, okay, you're going to end up highlighting the whole page. So
Mm-hmm.
that's not exactly the point of this. Oh, hold on. So I think to sum it up for me, the part that I think stood out the most for me was his mention of energy, where he mentioned that thoughts are not original, but that they're borrowed, and that we take those thoughts and we turn them into energy, that we either take action, or we react. But that really started me on the whole idea of moving energy, because I have a lot of thoughts about energy. Right, Nayda, you know that, right? I have a lot of thoughts about energy. You know that I mean, and you as well, that I believe that we are source energy in the physical body, right?
Absolutely.
That we are source energy. And so whenever the topic of energy comes up, it always makes me, of course, think of that original source energy, that quantum field of potential, right? And so that really is what his sentence about energy, borrowed energy, triggered that idea about us borrowing energy. And then he goes on to talk about sharing, sharing being this exchange of energy. And my thoughts just really, I couldn't get my thoughts away from the idea of energy, because with energy cannot be created and it cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed, right? It can only be transformed from one form to another. And so what really came to my mind is the idea that if we're not sharing, we're almost causing, we're causing like this bottleneck of energy. Like we're learning, we're taking all of this information in, and it's like we're storing energy. Right? And it's like this bottleneck of energy, and we're not exchanging that energy with the universe unless we're sharing. So that's what really struck me, is that sharing with others. And I know he titles the chapter teaching, but I really took that, I internalized that to be sharing. Sharing resonated with me a little bit more than me being a teacher, right? On social media. Really sharing, right? Sharing my journey, sharing my thoughts, sharing my ideas, specifically about his book, 30 Days of Thoughts. So sharing is what really stood out to me. And the idea that the more we share, the more we grow and the higher our potential, to me, that really is directly related to our exchange of energy with the universe, with other people in the world. That, we always hear that you get back what you give out, right? And so I saw that as another way to exchange ourselves with the universe, with the people around us, that we're exchanging ideas as we're sharing and putting that out there, and it's coming back to us. There's this growth process, which he mentions, right? There's a growth process that happens as you're putting ideas out there and having ideas come back to you, or thoughts come back to you, that this is really kind of a back and forth exchange of energy. So I don't know, what are your thoughts?
Well, I'm actually glad you mentioned energy, because that actually brought me to something even more deeper. Like you said, we have the energy inside of us, right? But also, like Abraham Hicks says, that it's already been stored there for you. So in other words, it's already in your vortex, right? And what came up for me was, yes, those ideas have been there all along, waiting for you to access that. However, have you ever heard of, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear?
Yeah, absolutely.
So not until you are ready to see that those thoughts, those ideas are there waiting for you, you're not going to see them, because you need to prepare yourself for that.
Yep.
Okay, you need to be open for that. You need to
Yep.
be you need to be able to receive, to be able to say, okay, I am now ready to receive what you have for me.
Yep.
And yes, those energies are there. And the reason why we go on with life with not really seeing, what's in front of us is because we're not ready, we're blocked. And this is where the whole work comes in, where you have to unblock yourself. And that's a totally different segment here. But when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So for me, I'll just share a little bit about my story, what happened to me a few years ago, and it's real estate related. And I've been doing real estate for 15 years, and my life I've done pretty good, right? Pretty good. But I knew that there was another level for me. I knew that I could do more. Okay. One of the things that he also mentions in the book is competition.
Yeah.
He basically says that, if I have it here, he says, competition is only a myth. Okay. And the reason competition is only a myth because you're unique and you're different. Just, you're different. Okay.
Yep.
You're unique. You bring something different to the table. So you have to tap into that uniqueness of who you are. Okay. Don't think just because, there's a lot of realtors out there that you have competition. No, you're different. You could do things different. You are different. So you need to find out what that different is inside of you. You need to find that authentic self within you so that you will be able to share. Again, there goes that word share again
Exactly. Yeah.
with the world. Okay. And this is why you don't have competition, because you're beautiful, you're perfect, you're whole, you're complete, just the way you are. You're unique, you're different, and that's perfect for you.
Yep.
um and Tony, the other thing I wanted to also add to this whole thing is that, it's going back to my story. I was able to, you know 2 years ago I decided, what is it that was stopping me from going to the next level in real estate?
Yeah.
And then I realized that, okay, well, I'm having some self-limited beliefs that I need to be more knowledgeable, right? I needed to be more knowledgeable. I needed to learn more. I needed to educate myself more.
Right.
Okay. And for some reason I just felt like I wasn't a good enough realtor. Like I didn't have a lot of information. Like I was scared to go out there and present myself as a professional, as an advisor, as a consultant.
Yeah.
And I decided to really engulf in a lot of knowledge and a lot of learning, a lot of things. And I realized that when I was doing that, first of all, it's just growing my self-esteem. I started creating this person that I didn't even know. Like this person, when I spoke to my clients, like I felt like I was in control of the conversation. I felt like I had their best interest,
Yeah.
and I feel like I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But not only that whole self-confidence came about, but it did something for me. It literally took me from the average realtor to a totally different level of
Right.
realtor. And when that happened for me, I was able now go to do more things. Like again, the energy. Those ideas were waiting for me in there in that vortex, and I was able to take those ideas out. And I'm like, oh, I know what I can do with this. Now I know what I can do with this one. I know what I can do with this one because,
Right.
like Les Brown says, knowledge is not power, execution is power. So you
Right.
could have all the knowledge that you want, all the knowledge that you acquire, all the knowledge that you read in books, workshops, spend all this money, but not until you start applying that knowledge,
Right.
you're gonna get stuck. You're gonna stay there. You're gonna be there. So you need to apply your knowledge by doing execution. You need to execute. You need to get into action.
Yeah.
Okay, and that has been like my priority in the next 2 years, and my business has completely turned around. Tony, you and I had this discussion several times, and it's just that confidence. That
Yeah.
confidence where when you're doing your real estate transaction, or whether you're talking to a seller, an investor, or a buyer, just that confidence level, it just comes out of your pores. It comes out of your pores, and it's a totally different experience. To be honest with you, it's a great experience.
Yeah. No, I definitely, I agree. I agree. And it's funny that you're talking about the knowledge too, because that takes me back to in this book, 30 Days of Thought. He actually says that true wisdom is the knowledge that all thoughts are not necessarily our own, right? And so you made me think of that because, and what you were just saying, because we go to classes, right? As realtors, we're constantly taking classes, right? To increase our skills, in addition to getting our, CEUs every year, every 2 years, which is always self-educating, right? And really, what are we doing with all of the classes that we take? They're classes that are given by other professionals, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like university textbook classes. We
Mm-hmm.
really are participating in classes where another professional is sharing their knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we walk away with this knowledge, which is really based on the thoughts of other professionals in our field.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is borrowed knowledge, borrowed energy,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of take it and assimilate it with the information that we've already gained through our experience in the industry, and we come up with this whole new thing, right? So it's like it really causes our own thoughts to evolve to the next level, right? Once we mix it with what this new information or new way of perceiving something, you know. So yeah, I absolutely love knowledge, and I think that also, another thing that this made me realize is, as realtors, interacting with our clients, we're always sharing, right? We always share our knowledge with our clients, right? Especially when they're first time home buyers, first time investors, right? We're helping to educate them along the way towards their purchase, right? And many purchases, hopefully, throughout their lifetimes. But I realized that that's kind of a one-on-one sharing, right? Which is what I've been happy to do for my entire 15-year career, right? I've been happy to impart that knowledge one client at a time. But I think that this chapter, the more you teach, the higher your potential, is really challenging us to take that to another level, to kind of, to level up, to scale up, right? To scale our businesses, because we can continue sharing one client at a time, and be very blessed with that, right? Be very fulfilled with doing that. But another interesting thing that he said in here, which I really had to think about, because I almost thought, wow, how does that fit in with this chapter? And that's the part where he talked about natural selection, right? And I'm like, natural selection. How does natural selection have anything to do with teaching and sharing? Because he talks about, it's only through sharing that natural selection selects you as part of the gene pool that's going to continue on, right? That's going to evolve. And so when I really thought about that, I thought, okay, well, I can see how that would work, because especially in today's age, where the people that are very visible and very vocal on social media, right, and really getting their message out there and really sharing with the world how they feel about certain topics, certain issues, certain industries, the people that are out here being visible and vocal are the ones that are growing and evolving. And it's almost like in this culture right now, you disappear, you're invisible, right? So while, we're working one client at a time and sharing our knowledge one client at a time, you have those that are getting on social media that are sharing that exact same thought with hundreds or thousands at a time, right? And so although, and this is really being hopeful, right? That thousands of people hopefully will see this video that we're making, right, over time. And so anything we share is going to be shared with thousands of people. Now, will all thousands of people become our personal clients? Maybe, maybe not, but we were able to impart whatever knowledge that we're sharing with that many people. And so, I could see where he was going with the idea that in evolution, those with the, I wouldn't say best traits, but those with traits that will contribute to the growth of society are the ones that hang around. They're the ones that don't go extinct, right? And so that's where he was going with that. And so I could see, how that applies to today. If you don't step up and become more visible and take part in this video society we have, in this social sharing platforms that we have, then you become invisible, and invisible, might as well not exist,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. You mentioned a lot of great points there, and like you said, the new generation, I should say, they definitely got it, about the events, technology, and being out there and being visible.
Yep.
Um, in reference to going back to, you know, it's very important that we understand that sharing is very important. You know, if you really think about it, when you come from a place that you do not want to share, you're coming from a place of limitation. You're coming from a place of fear.
Right.
Okay. We operate from two different places. We operate from fear or love. Okay. And, fear is that thing that stops you, is that thing that's, you're afraid of sharing too much information. And Tony, you're mentioning sharing in terms of sharing with clients, right? And giving our clients the information that we know, and also, whoever's going to be listening to this video, hopefully they get something out of it. But let's talk about a little bit more about real estate as well. We're realtors, and I think it's important that in this community, because I've actually encountered this myself, where if you see another realtor that you actually admire, and you're like, oh my gosh, this realtor is doing so great. I would love to know what he or she is doing. Or, when I do my transactions, the realtors that I work with on a daily basis, some of those realtors, unfortunately, you have some realtors that are unprofessional and some of those are extremely professional. Well, guess what? I make it a point to call the ones that are doing such an amazing job, to let them know I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you for your professionalism. I appreciate you for being attentive the entire time of the transactions, for picking up my phone calls, for communicating with me, for going way beyond the expectations, and and I like to have those conversations with them. And it's incredible how a lot of these realtors, when they receive an email from me or a phone call, they really, really appreciate it. They're like, thank
Yeah.
you so much for recognizing
Yeah.
that about me. And, you know who you are out there. And then you have those realtors that, that they don't want to share, or they just, listen, sharing, it's very important, not just only in the client area, but also in the real estate, any business that you're in. I don't care
Yep.
what business you're in, what professional you're in. If you know something, and if you're successful,
Yep.
and somebody comes up to you because they see you as a role model, they
Yep.
see you as a leader,
Yep.
it is your duty, okay? It
Right.
is your duty to
Uh-huh.
understand that that is a big role, that's a responsibility,
Yeah.
okay? you
Yeah.
need to you need to share, you
Yeah.
need to share what you're doing with that person, okay? You need to be, you know in gratitude, in gratitude for the blessings that you're getting, and you
Yeah.
should be able to, share those blessings back, to the world,
Yeah.
especially to your colleagues and to the people that are around you. And I gotta tell you, Tony, all my life, I've been that kind of person. I've always shared. I'm sure there's a lot of realtors that, if they're watching this video right now, they know me.
Yeah.
They know that I share all the time.
Yeah.
I share what I do. I share where I'm getting information from. I just share things all the time. And
Yeah.
these are realtors that have been really close to me, or people that are in a relationship with me.
Yeah.
And when they ask me a question, I'm always answering them with an open heart. I am more than happy to help people. And I've never felt, I've never had a problem doing that, which is very interesting. Like, I never had a problem doing that.
Right.
I've always been very open about stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, other people around me have said to me, "What are you doing? You're crazy. Don't do that." But
Right.
I never seen it as a bad thing. So it's not in me. It's just
Right.
never been in me to even think about that.
Right.
And again, this book, which is amazing, 30 Days of Thought, is really pushing us not only to look deeper into a lot of these subjects,
Yep.
but also to share it with the world. So here we go
Exactly.
again with the sharing.
Exactly. No, I mean, and that's me. I mean, because over the years, you and I have talked. You've called me. I've shared information with you, and I am. I
Yeah.
mean, people know that if they call me with any questions, I'm here. I'll give you all the knowledge that I have. On any subject. And anything other than that, I think is a scarcity mentality.
Yes,
And it
yes,
goes back to what you mentioned earlier from the book, competition. And
yes.
competition is a myth, right?
Fear.
Yeah, it's fear based and it's scarcity based. And I think that the more we tap into our authenticity and our uniqueness, it should relax the fear of competition and the fear of sharing, because you realize that there's only one you, right? That you are unique, and that your uniqueness is what should make you stand out in the marketplace. So regardless of the fact that you and a handful of others have the same information or knowledge to share, no one can share it in the exact same way that you're going to share it. And so that should give us each comfort, in
Mhm.
sharing in the marketplace and not feeling like it's going to take anything from us.
Right.
I think that
And
we can actually grow from it.
yeah, and talking about that fear, when that fear comes inside of you, because it will, right? We're humans, we're normal, and we do this all the time. When that fear comes inside of you, what do, right? So let me tell you how I handle it. When anything disrupts my peace, or anything that's in my mind, or that I'm not supposed to be thinking about, I just feel like, okay, this is not working for me.
Mm-hmm.
You have to let go. Detach yourself from that. Okay, it's not serving you. Detach. And my favorite thing to do is trust the process. It
Right.
is always working for your highest and best. Always.
Yeah.
Trust me, even if you don't believe it,
Yeah.
even it doesn't feel like it right now, even if you don't see it,
Yeah.
it's a mess. Okay, you're dealing with mess, but you have to detach from the circumstance
Yeah.
and trust the
That's it.
process.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Trust me. It's always gonna be working for your highest and best. You'll see. You may not see it right now, but it's gonna show up and it's gonna teach you that, and it's gonna be right there, and it's gonna let you know. You see, this is why you had to go through what you had to go through. Or you see, this is what you had to share. You see, this is why. Trust me, the blessings, there's so much blessings out there. There is no competition. Just focus on your blessings.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree. I mean, me, things are always working out for me, right?
Hmm.
So I completely agree. When things are chaotic, you kind of have to rein in your emotions,
Hmm.
and take the next best step in front of you, and trust that all the other components that appear to be going haywire are all
Hmm.
going to work themselves out.
Hmm.
And really the more you step back out of it and remove your emotions from it, the better chance it has of working out, so that it's a
Absolutely.
win-win for everybody, right? When you kind of get out of the way and let the universe handle all the pieces,
Hmm.
it just has a way of working itself out for your best and for the best of everybody involved, if when that's your intention. So I completely agree. you know so really, really good chapter.
Awesome. Good.
It's pretty amazing how such short chapters can spark so many ideas and take you down so many paths of thought, right?
Mhm.
So far so good. I'm really enjoying it.
That's right. So keep sharing. Keep sharing to your highest potential.
Absolutely. That's the message. Keep sharing. Share, share, share. All
Hmm.
right. Well, until next time,
The next
um,
time,
we'll see everybody. Have a great week.
have a great week.